Hi folks, it's going to do a little video on cool new fibre. It's from Dyckers in Holland, and it's their soft fibre. Now I came across this because I always struggle to find EP fibre in the UK, believe it or not, especially mail order. When I do find it, it can usually be quite expensive. All of us in Edinburgh used to stock it, but it was too expensive. It was like £7-8 for pretty much that, you know, not very good. And then they didn't always have it, and now they hardly have anything fly tie in Orvis in Edinburgh. So I saw a post on Facebook from Edwin at Dyckers, and he was saying he was using these new fibres, and I thought, have a look at these. So I needed some EP. I couldn't get it. I thought I'm going to jump in and take a chance on these new fibres that Dyckers were doing. So I ordered 4 colours. Well, actually I ordered 2 white, I ordered a black, and I ordered a cucumber. Pretty much standard kind of baitfish type of patterns. Now when they arrived, say I was quite impressed. Okay, so here we have them. Dyckers fibres. They're 11.8 inches long, which is pretty good. Average size of EP, if you can see that, that's probably a couple of inches less in a bag. The great thing I love about this is, so far, is although you might not tie in one section a length like that, Dyckers actually give you a wee cable tie. So when you pull it out, you can actually half it, which I'll show you in a bit, and stick the cable tie in, and more manageable bundles. So the big test, of course, how like EP fibre is it? Alright, there we have your classic EP fibre. Okay, and here's the Dyckers. So I pull a wee bit out, about the same. And you know, to be honest with you, it doesn't actually feel very much different whatsoever. It actually feels quite nice. I haven't actually had this out yet, so I was waiting until I did this video. That looks quite good. Okay, so let's get the thing pulled out. Remembering our little cable tidy. Okay, really nice. Feels really nice. This is the soft one. So yeah, that feels pretty good actually. Yeah, acts like EP fibre as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. Feels okay. So again, as I said to you, if you wanted to half it, more manageable lengths, you could do that, and then put the cable tie they supply in there. Great if you're doing a lot of small bait fish. I'm not going to do that because I have various ways of tying things, and I don't always need short lengths. So 11 inches kind of works for me. Ooh, misses. So okay, so I got the white. Well, I actually got 2 packets of white because I get through quite a lot of the belly. I got the soft in black, and I got the cucumber, which is it's actually quite a nice it's quite a nice colour. That again, you can colour this, I presume, I'm going to try later maybe, with your usual permanent markers. Put some gill flashes or stripes on them, but we'll give that a try later. So of course, oh, price, yeah, that was the other thing I was talking about, price. So for that great big hank there, and that is more than you get in EP fibre. I know because I've been tying with EP fibre for so long, and I know that's more than you get in an EP pack. Very impressive actually. Again, with EP fibre, the thing with it is, the more, you know, a lot of people come into using it and they use too much material. You should only be using a tiny amount. I'm going to tie up a basic fly to try this Dyckers fibre out, and see how we get on with it. But you'll see when I tie the amount of material to actually use. So it is quite cost effective to actually use not a lot of it. Okay, price wise, this is in euros it's 550 for that hang, 550 euros, which equates to UK pounds as £4.80, which is obviously cheaper than EP, and you get more. Okay, in US dollars that's $6.20, but I know the guys in the USA, they can get hold of EP no problem at all. It's just always been, I've always had that over here. I've always had trouble obtaining a good regular supply of the stuff, and it don't get me wrong, it makes absolutely fantastic flies, very mobile as well, and you can do a lot with it. Okay, so the proof for the pudding obviously is in the tie-in, so I'm just going to have a wee bit of coffee. He says demolishing a cup. Okay, get it while I'm in the beard. Right, okay. Hook wise, I'm going to use a CZT and a 6.0. Bit of self promotion if you want these hooks. Give me a PM, the usual ways, Facebook and Instagram, my cloth chucker, and I'll hit you up with them. Okay, again, I've had a few folks asking why do you use that hook over your standard J hook, so to speak. I like these hooks because you get a lot more movement on these hooks out the back. Okay, sometimes with the typical J hook, if you're tying in there and you're tying your tail from maybe about here and the rest of the material, when you're casting, if you're using too much EP or even too little, it can get caught around here, just in that gap, and it looks a bit crap in the water, to be honest with you. I find with these, you're tying all your material, or 99% of your material, in the back there, and then you're tying your body up here, which goes over the top. 99.9% of the time it doesn't wrap up on these. Again, someone once said to me, oh, the pike will miss that, oh, because it's too short. Actually not true. The pike will engulf a 7, 8, 9 inch fly. They will totally engulf that. There's pictures on my Fluff Chucker Facebook account of people who have caught pike on the flies on these hooks. They're laser sharp. Okay, so word up. Okay, so let's get to the old tie-in bit, the good bit. Okay, and we're going to try with this. I'm going to do a kind of just a basic quick baitfish pattern just to show you, for me as well, because I've never tied with this before, so we're going to see how it goes. Okay, we'll get that in. The keen-eyed amongst you might have seen that I've actually upgraded to an Anvil Atlas. The old Renzetti that I got off my good fishing buddy and dear brother Ken Capsey over in the USA, or Mr. Pike Picker, had seen better days, so I kind of had to retire it a bit, but it still sits up here, just there. I've tied a lot of flies on that vise. The Renzetti so far, there was a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, good vise, good vise. Some saying we're bad. So far, I love it. It's a fantastic vise. I have no issues with it at all. Okay, so let's get to the tying of the baitfish. Right, okay. A standard mono thread. Okay. Just in there. So you're just tying at the back of that. And I'm just going to varnish. The reason I use the varnish on there like that is because it kind of makes it toothproof. You can put super glue in there if you like. I'm not a great huge fan of super glue for using on kind of the whippings to make it toothproof. I find varnish is okay. Right, okay, so let's try some of this. I'm just going to get a small amount. Okay, and then I'm just going to half that like so. And I'm going to use, I've got some nice scissors from Deer Creek actually, nice for cutting synthetics. They just hot knife through butter. Okay, right, so let's do the usual. Okay, so I'm going to taper the end, like so. It does actually, it really feels really nice. I know there might be some people out there that will say, oh, you know, it's only the same as everybody's doing, everyone's using the same suppliers. Actually, no. There is companies in the UK that make this, well, not make it actually, funky fibre and stuff, which is actually just Congo hair. Congo hair is really good, but I tend to find it's quite frizzy. This actually isn't Congo hair. This is actually made by the guys at Dyckers themselves in Holland, and I have no reason to doubt that, because this is not Congo hair. I've used Congo hair quite a lot for various things. I've done it on bullheads and things like that. This is not Congo hair, so there's another word up. Right, okay, so we're going to move that right up to there. Okay, that's it. Look, see, that's it. Simple. And then again, I'm going to taper, like so. It's fine. I'm just going to lay that down for a second, and I'm just going to get a little bit of varnish on this. Again, we're not using a huge amount of material. It's really a false economy, and I keep saying it, but less is really more with this kind of stuff. You get a far more mobile fly just by using, literally, you could even use half of that, to be honest with you, but that's about the thickness I go. Okay, so this one, as you saw, I bent that one back, forward and back. This one just on here, and what I'm doing with these two fingers is just slightly pushing down so it goes around the hook, and then I'm putting a couple of turns in there like so. Now I split over the hook shank, and I split the hook itself, and then a few more. So because you're actually not using a huge amount of this stuff, you'll see that the varnish has actually started to seep through there already, which is kind of cool. So we're going to get a little bit more of the white. And again, I just want to say that I actually purchased this. I didn't actually sent it free. I know he's had it for a while. I don't think that long actually, but I know I looked at it and I wanted to try it, so I did actually buy it. Okay. So again, the longest piece is going to be on the back to build up the body shape and the tapering, and then you're going to have a shorter piece towards the front. Again, push it down, a couple of wraps, split it over the hook eye and split it on the hook, so you have around about even numbers. You can always tidy it up after you're finished. Okay, and then bring your thread forward slightly so you tied in. Just looking at that, and that's looking quite good. So I have another piece, and again taper just by pulling out, so you have kind of a what I call a raggedy end. Okay, and then this end you want to be slightly shorter than the last one you put in. So if you put that on, again bend it around the hook like so, and you can see already that that is starting to get baitfish shaped. And again, it looks like there's quite a lot of material on there, but there's actually not. It's quite fantastic. And again, in the water, very mobile. Okay, a couple of wraps around there. Now, there's no varnish coming through there now, so I'm just going to add a little touch, like so. That's looking great. Okay, I'm now going to put a wee bit of flash in there. So I'm going to go just for like a raspberry pink. Just like so, just some angel hair. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some on the top, face forward, around the hook a wee bit. That's fine. Push it down, couple of wraps like so. Check that's looking good. Okay. And then we can go either side of the hook eye, either side of the hook. Okay, bring it round. Now what I'm going to do is tease a little bit of this material up and down, just so we're kind of even on both sides. And a few whips, there we go. That's looking fine. Okay. So that's pretty much basically your gill rakers, your red spot, your flash, whatever you want to call it, target point, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to get some more of this Dyckers stuff. It does actually feel, when I'm tying with it, it does actually feel like tying with EP. I know some of the other stuff I've bought before has, it kind of doesn't feel like EP fibre, but I really like this. Just acts exactly the same way. So I'm just going to taper that a bit. It's looking good. If you have any straggly bits, don't worry too much about it, because you can always come to them at the end of the fly, and you can just trim it if you like. Okay. Again, there's not too much on there, because I don't want too much, because I want that red to show through. So if you put too much on, what will happen is you'll just like cover it up completely and it won't be seen. Yeah, that's looking good. Happy with that. Okay. And the final piece of white, we've still got the back to put on it, so. And again, I'm just going to taper that and choose what end's going to be the tail, which for me is going to be this end. And tie that in. And again, fold either side of the hook. It takes me a bit of practice, but you'll soon get it. And then pull either side of the hook. Okay. Again, I'm tying most of this, while I'm actually tying this, is whipping it off. It's just in there. So I'm leaving a little bit here. This is going to be where the nose is going to be, so to speak, and it's going to tie off quite small. If you want quite a big nose on that, hey, if you want quite a big nose on that, you can tie your material just right up to the eye hook. If you want a smaller one like this, just remember to tie stuff further back and you will get that enough space in there. You'll see what I mean in a sec. Right, so let's go. Let's go for the old cucumber. Beautiful, very soft, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to pick off about that much. Okay, let's get that folded. Sometimes there's little straggly bits, I actually will cut them off like this. Okay. Again, tapering this. So you're going to want to lay that on the back so it tapers down to around about the whole length of the body. It's a beautiful colour, that cucumber, actually. It's really, really nice. I'd imagine that'd be quite good for bass, because it's kind of like a smelt type colour as well, and being cucumber as well. I'm not sure if that's why Edwin's done that, but yeah, lovely, because obviously smell like cucumber. So just a couple of wraps in there, and then this you're going to pull back like so, and then we're going to just a couple of whips on there. Just have a look. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to put some darker angel hair on the top of that, because you know, like a lot of baitfish, for example roach, silver body, and they might have a darker head, or small chub, they will have a darker head. In fact, a lot of fish have the darker heads. So you can play. There's just a basic hank of angel hair, and I'm just going to lay that on. Okay. Now that's being tied, as you can see, with enough room just in there for when you put your final piece of backing on. So I'm just going to push that across, like so, and a couple of ties in. Suppose that. Okay, and I'm pretty much ready for the last piece of cucumber now. Of course you could leave that just like that. I just like to put a wee bit of the original back colour on there. And again, you could actually blend the two together if you wanted. You could blend the angel hair in. It's a lot easier to do with shorter sections. So I'm just getting my length here for the tapering. Okay, and that's going to go on there, and I'm just going to push that down slightly, like so. A couple of wraps in the original bit at the back there. Okay, looking good. So this piece, just fold it back and push down with your thumb. You can see, just to get it slightly around that hook. Just finish off a few turns. Okay. It's looking kind of good. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that green actually blends into that cucumber very, very well. I'll put some stills up on Facebook later on. Okay, so my other favourite trick is somewhere here. Is I take a lighter and hold these back and just touch this. By touching the eye of the hook and giving it some heat, what you're actually doing is putting heat, which obviously goes through metal, travels through metal. So the heat is actually going through that, but not even as far as that, because I can't feel that. So the heat's going to just that slight section there. What it's doing is actually melting those fibres inside, and they actually stick together, and they will actually stick to the hook. So it just gives you extra durability. Okay, so what I'll do is just quickly, again, the whole thing of trimming, I don't bother too much, because the fibres actually stick together in the water anyway, so you won't see these straggly bits. But just for presentation, okay. Okay, and there you have a lovely little. I've got to say, Dyckers out there, I'm seriously impressed. Okay, so we're just going to mix up a tiny little bit of epoxy, and we're going to put our eyes on there. I'm going to use hard eyes if I can find them. There they are. Got so much stuff in here. And I think what we'll do, we'll go with, yeah, I think we'll go with a, I'm going to go with a little 8mm eye, if I can find my chompy things to take the, oh, where they gone, where they gone? You know, sometimes when you have so much stuff, you can't find anything. I did have them here. Ah, there they are. Right. I'm just, with these plastic eyes, I'm just going to clip off a pair of pliers. Now, if you can see that, when I clip these, I always leave a little raised section. The reason for that is when you add the epoxy and you push the eyes on, it gives it something extra to grip onto. So again, here's the epoxy. My favourite all-time epoxy, Z-Epoxy. The stuff is bomb-proof. I just absolutely love it. So I'm just going to mix up a tiny little bit. Again, there's a big debate as well about the new, you know, the new UV resins that are out there, and I do use UV resins. If I'm tying smaller flies, I use UV resins, or if I'm tying small flies with and I'm using super glue for the eyes. But you have to watch with your super glues though, because some of them, your cheaper ones, actually react with the UV and you'll come up with lots of white spots. So I tend to use some decent super glues, like Loctite have been good. But again, I'll use UV resins on the smaller flies. And if I'm doing a really small fly like this size, like a saltwater or something like that, and a small head, I will use UV over the top of it. If you're doing that with pike flies, to be honest with you, it's going to be a bit expensive, because it's not cheap, that stuff. But it's good. It's good. It's also good for finishing flies off as well. But I think to be honest with you, the UV resins is more the kind of domain, I think, of the small saltwater fly and the trout fishermen. You know, the grayling bugs, stuff like that. There's some great stuff out there that people have done with UV, like little grayling bugs and stuff, but not my bag, I'm afraid. I like to give them something to chew on. Who said that? Matt Hayes. Give me something to chew on. Okay, so mix the epoxy up. Now, the epoxy, what I like to do, I know roughly where the eye is going to be, so what I like to do is take a dubbing needle, push the epoxy through, like so, and just make sure you push it either side of the hook shank. Okay, and then you turn it over and you can see where you've epoxied. Some more in there. The stuff I use, Z-Epoxy, I've been using it for quite a number of years. It's a really, really good epoxy. I've not found any better. This one's the 30-minute. You can actually buy 5-minute, I think, and 15-minute. But for myself, when I'm tying up large amounts of flies, I tend to tie all the flies, and then I'll do a whole batch at the same time. That works for me. So again, just pushing the epoxy through. Now, the epoxy obviously is, when it dries, is actually quite weighty. It does actually weigh something. So by doing this, what you're actually doing, you're creating a weight inside the head. What this does with the actual fly, it actually aids the movement of the fly in the water, and it just makes it go like a jerk bait, up and down, round about. You can muck around with how much you use. I found a formula that I like to use and that works very well, which is what I'm doing now. And I stick with that because I know how the flies would work in the water, and ultimately, you know, I want flies to catch fish, so I try to make them as lifelike as possible. You know, some guys will take the flat eyes, like the 3D eyes and stuff, and they will completely cover the head and have a whole epoxy head. That's great, I do flies like that myself. But what I'm doing here is kind of making a subtle kind of bait fish, with subtle movements, a good sink rate, so you can search out layers in the water and stuff. So again, I'm putting the eyes on. So you've got a bed of epoxy in behind those eyes. Once that dries, that's actually bomb proof. Those eyes will not come out, and they will withstand teeth, withstand everything. Knock them against rocks, they won't come off. Again, if I've got a little epoxy left, I just go over the weapon. Like so. And that's pretty much it. There you have a pretty much standard little roach and bait fish. Okay, so absolutely very, very happy with that fibre. It worked as I expected it. It's just like using EP fibre. It's cheaper. Very, very impressed. I've not been impressed by a new material for probably quite a while. You know, but this Dyckers stuff really does float my boat. I'll just say that ordering times as well, you might think, oh, ordering from Holland, it's going to take ages to get here. Actually, I ordered some other stuff off eBay at the same time, and the stuff from Holland actually arrived in Scotland faster than the eBay stuff from the UK. So depending how you catch it, you're probably looking around about a week. Dyckers are quite good at getting stuff out really pretty quick, usually the next day. And I think sometimes if you get an order in probably early in the morning or late at night, they will get it out the following day. But I mean, I can only say positive things about this stuff. It's so like EP fibre. Again, for the musky guys out there, I mean, you know, 11 inches of that fibre, that's a damn good sized musky fly. Give it a try. Honestly, give it a try. I'm not sure postage to the States. Oh, the postage costs were quite reasonable as well, actually. It was, I'm not sure how much it was, actually. I think it was about maybe £4.50 UK, something like that. But absorbing that into the cost of the stuff, you know, it's really, really good. The colours, there is a really, really good colour range. Again, I've only ordered 3 colours that I tie with quite often. So I will be ordering more and different colours. You know, I also bought, well, Edwin actually sent me, because some EP Sparkle was out of stock, so Edwin kindly put that in instead. Again, that's a beautiful soft fibre. I'm not sure if you can see the colours of that, but that's a lovely jackpike type colour. It's like a yellow and green. Really, really impressed. Go and check Dyckers' site out. There'll be a link below the video to Dyckers, or look them up on the internet. They are Dyckers, Dyckers Pure Fly Fishing. They don't just do EP fibres. I bought a bucktail, a whole bucktail, just as cheap as the UK. I was ordering anyway, so I thought great, nice bucktail. They do a whole range of fly fishing stuff, and again, I'm not sponsored by them. It's great service. They have great products. The range of the Dyckers fibres that they have, the colours are absolutely fantastic. I will be ordering again fairly shortly and making up a whole load. So thanks for watching, and catch you next time.